Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen. Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. Welcome to another week of good stuff. Hope y'all had a great week. Hope you are enjoying the fall rolling in intermittently here in Atlanta. It is still hot. I saw this sign on Facebook, or this post on Facebook, that says, yeah, fall's coming, but decided to pick up summer on the way. So we are still crazy hot. We're in the 90s. And it's just, I can't complain. I love the heat. The heavy heat is another thing. But I am looking forward to a little bit of the weather changing. And that said, I was thinking about, as I always do, I think about people, who they are, what their motivation is, what drives them. And one of the things that I was thinking about, I was reading something, and I remember it prompted me to think about bumper stickers. Not just bumper stickers on cars, but human bumper stickers. How many times have you been in a bit of a rush, or you're driving somewhere and you come up behind a car with a sign on it that says, "Student driver, have patience"? What was your reaction? For me, when that's happened, it's been mixed. So even though we've all had to learn how to drive and gain experience, everybody has to do that, right? And God willing, you get better as you get older. Some people don't. But somehow, most of us forget about that learning curve. Sometimes I have patience and understanding, and I just calmly go on my way around them. Like, you got to do your thing. I got to do my thing. Other times, I hate to admit it, but I get pissed. And I curse a little for them holding my race car driving up a millisecond or two. So I'll yank my car around them in the next lane, press down on the gas pedal, and I'll haul ass to wherever it is that I need to get to in a hurry, right? I can imagine y'all have been in that position too. Sometimes I have little patience for things that get in the way of my agenda, and I can't get out of my own head and slow down. Kind of ends up being about me. And then other times, someone might pull in front of me when I'm driving like a speed demon, because I really kind of do. Thanks, Mom, because she did that too. I'm pressed for time, and I immediately am reminded that there's more to this scenario than meets the eye, that this is a message from the universe to me to slow down and be present. I always think about that. I love it when I have that insight, because it usually means that there's something that I'm being protected from if I'd not been gifted this slower driver in front of me. Even if it's just the awareness of, Janis, you're thinking too much ahead. Just be. And I bring this up to you because it's important for you to ask yourself if you would practice patience with a new driver or a slow driver if the sign on the car had not been there. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not. Maybe some of you are like eternally patient, and God bless you for being that. I'm not a lot of the time. So here's the thing. We have no idea what somebody's going through. We don't wear signs or have personal bumper stickers on our car or on ourselves that illustrate our personal struggles. You don't see signs taped to people's shirts or backs that say, "Going through a divorce, lost a parent recently, feeling depressed, or diagnosed with cancer." It just doesn't happen. So why can't we practice patience and compassion for others on a regular basis when the world is in dire need of such virtues? If we could have X-ray vision into the experiences of others, we would definitely be nicer. Now, granted, having X-ray vision in some situations might not be your preference, or in all situations, because it can feel overwhelming by being able to see somebody's truth and challenge. And frankly, You might not want to be so aware of what others are going through. Some of us can't help it. Those of us who are empaths, we just feel everything. I admire it many, many times when somebody isn't blessed with the ability to sense other people or the ability to be so aware and that they're not that affected. But that's not my life, y'all. I am affected by everything. But for the sake of this conversation, we've got to take time to not only consider, but also remember that everybody else is going through something, even if they act strong all the time, even though we don't wear personal signs. So many times people have said to me, Janis, you are always so put together and so strong. And on the one hand, y'all, that's nice to hear. But on the other hand, that's not always the case with me. Yeah, I do feel like I'm a strong person, and I am. And I do feel like I've worked really, really hard to get to the place that I'm at. But I do struggle with the same things that other people do. And I do have my vulnerabilities and weaknesses. And it's not that I really always want people to know. I feel like sometimes I have to kind of keep those things close to my chest. So at times I'm uncertain about different things in my life, and I have trouble detaching from outcomes, and because of that, my anxiety can rise. So my sign on those days might be worried about XYZ. Another sign might be some days I'm sad today, and I'm having a hard time getting out of that space. Sometimes my sign might say, feeling sad and in need of solutions, or feeling lonely. And while they're much fewer and far between those days, right, they'd still happen. This reminds me of an experience I had one time while I was waiting for a parking space in a busy mall area during lunchtime. I'll never forget this. Literally, it was like the busiest time, and it was a busy, busy place. So I was waiting for this car to pull out, and all of a sudden, all these other cars are behind me. They're waiting. But the one person that was directly behind me, she was having a fit. I kept looking in the back because I was so aware that this person in front of me was taking such a long time. But I just kind of was like, well, I just need that spot. So I'm going to wait. And it wasn't in spite of anything. It wasn't to hold people up. But it did. We've all been there. This woman was pissed. She was shaking her finger at me. I could tell she was pissed. She was cursing. She was all this stuff. And I noticed it. And then the lady in front of me pulled out. And then right beside me, the lady pulled out. So the woman behind me and I, we were parked next to each other. She got out of the car. She was ready to rip me up one side and down the other. And I remember this peace came over me. I remember I felt like I heard, be kind to her. And so got out of the car. And even though I saw that she was off her rocker mad that she had to be held up, I turned to her and I said, thank you so much for being patient. I know you had to wait a long time. And she looked at me, mouth on the ground, like, holy shit, you just totally ruined what I was about to do. You didn't let me be angry. And I looked at her and I said, I hope you have a great lunch. Thank you again for being so patient. And she was so caught off guard that she smiled and said, well, you're welcome. I'll never forget that because typically I would have been ready to be all pissy pants like she was, head to head. That's the Taurus in me, the stubborn me, the prideful me. And the beauty of what I was guided to do allowed both of us to move on from that experience and have a pleasant exit. So that woman's sign might have been, I'm under so much pressure to have to make everything happen today. I'm in a rush. And I tell you that story because the truth is we are so busy meeting deadlines, taking care of responsibilities, all the things that we got to do to achieve in the future. And in that vein, our attention is typically in the future and ahead of us. And we get lost in those things in our mind. I know I have. But that's the challenge here, y'all. So as you travel on your way each day, notice the cues that beckon you to remain present and compassionate. The things that hold you up and trip you up, that say, wait a minute, You're way too far off task. There are other people around you. Life isn't just about you. Think about how you want others to treat you. Think about creating beautiful and amazing karma for yourself from one moment to the next just by practicing kindness, compassion, because you have no fucking idea what people are going through. And many people, like me, tend to kind of mask that at times. Think about how ignorant we all are to the struggles of others, and that every single one of us, we're just trying to do the best we can. And sometimes when we try to do that, we can't tolerate other people interfering with that, or at least we think it's interference, because again, we're so far ahead. And while none of us is perfect, we can act from a place of divine inspiration, the place of divine love, where we practice consciously compassion and love. Life gives you clues all over the place about how you're doing. That's what I want you to remember. Life gives you clues all over the place about how you are doing. Every relationship and interaction you have is a direct reflection of what you put out into the universe, where you are, the vibration you hold. And I urge you to take heed of those sounds and course correct immediately. Don't resent the fact, well, I kind of did it this morning too. That's so funny. I was behind somebody. God bless this man, would not go over 35. Slowed down when he did. I'm ready to get my ass here, record this episode. I got stuff to do. I got to send clients things before 9 o'clock starts. I was pissed. And then, of course, I raced around to him. I was like, God bless. It would have just taken me 5 more minutes. Chill. So take a breath when you find yourself holding yours. Release the tension, because life really is moment to moment. Take moments to remind yourself that each of us is here in this moment, in this time, and in moments to follow, to not just survive, but to become better versions of ourselves. We all need each other. We all need each other to cushion our fall, to smile at us unexpectedly, to show kindness when others don't, to practice love and fidelity to ourselves and others, to be what we have been given the opportunity to be: good, kind, thoughtful, loving, caring, considerate, helpful, so that we can make this world a better place for everybody. So if you had a bumper sticker every day, maybe on your car today, what would it say? What would you need people to know that they don't? I hope this has been enlightening. I hope you'll take a moment to kind of think about, as I am constantly reminded to do, to be mindful of who we are in each moment. And that when we're caught up in the future, we're caught up in anxiety, caught up in pressure, responsibility, that we're in the wrong place. That being present is really what matters most. And loving people, being kind and compassionate. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.